All right, we are going to be looking at the brake system on a Kawasaki Bayou 300. We've got all the plastics off, we've got the rear end apart. None of that is needed when you're just trying to adjust brakes or replace brake lever or replace cables. I'm going to show you how to do that today. You need two 14mm wrenches. We're going to go back here to the cables. We're going to loosen up the lock nut and we're going to run that as far out as possible. There's a small boot. It's going to be hard for you guys to see this part of it, this part of the video, but small boot, you can use a flat screwdriver, in this case a pick. You don't want to rip that boot, but if you can get in behind it there, kind of pull it off the end of that cable. What we're working on doing is getting these cables out of this frame system. So the frame that's actually part of the four-wheeler, we're trying to get these cables out of there. So we're gonna we've removed the spring and the wing nut that's on the back drum, and now we're gonna loosen these nuts completely up and take them actually back down onto the cable. Now what we can do is pull this brake assembly as far as we can, and it can be a challenge. This brake cable happens to be broken, so we're actually catching. But once you get it far enough, you can get it out, slide it out the slot that's on that mount for that cable. So we've got that one out there. Now we can take and spin, and I think you can see this on the video here where I'm pushing this out. I line that cable up with this groove there and pull it out that way. Then go ahead and do the same on the other side. Loosen that 14 completely up, and then take this cable, pull it completely out, do the exact same thing there where you slide it up. Now the next thing we're gonna do is, they've got a cotter pin here that runs through this shaft, and it's the threaded shaft there, and we're gonna straighten this cotter pin out. The park brake assembly, I went over on a separate video. Search for that, or I'll get you a link to that to rebuild the park brake assembly and make adjustments there. But straighten this cotter pin out and then grab the end of it and push against the brake lever there. Now we've got a 14mm bolt on here. Take and undo that one. We've got this spring. You can do that a couple different ways. I like to use a pick. Sometimes I like to use this pair of side dikes, wire cutters, to be able to grab a hold of it really well. Get it out as far as you can. Then what you're going to do is take this lever and kind of just wiggle it out. Now a lot of times these levers will get stuck on this shaft just because of rust or corrosion. So you can take WD-40, spray it in there, and a lot of times that'll clean it right up. Careful with that spring. It can spring kind of and hit you, but we've got your brake lever there, and then we've got your spring here. Now the shaft, we can take and this shaft will spin now, and so we'll get this pulled up out of there so we can take then and tap this out, and this is going to go out this way. We'll want to use a rubber mallet to do that, but it's as simple as just tapping it out. And that is the brake assembly on a Kawasaki Bayou 300.